Hi everyone, it's Marietta, founder of Immigration Biz. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, I want to clarify and answer some of your frequently asked questions, specifically about DV Visa Lottery 2023 registration. So, as you already know, the first day that you will be able to register this year in 2021 is going to be October 6th, noon EST 2021. And the last day is going to be November 9th, 2021. So you want to make sure you register within this time frame. If you cannot, for whatever reason, register on day one, it's most likely because everybody is trying to register and the server is down. So don't freak out. It's okay. Try again later, maybe the next day. And in this video, I do want to talk about frequently asked questions, things that people are asking all the time. And I do want to clarify everything you need to know before you submit your entry. So let's start with the eligibility requirements. Who is actually eligible? As you know, people from certain countries are eligible. Now, the way you establish your eligibility is typically based on two things. Either you are native from the country that is eligible, or you are chargeable and you still qualify even though you are not native from the country that is eligible. So let me explain. Here you go. Native originally means someone born in particular country regardless of individual's current country of residence or nationality. Native can also mean someone who is entitled to be charged to country other than the one in which she was or he was born under the Immigration and Nationality Act. Because there are numerical limitations on immigrants who enter from a country or geographic region, each individual is charged to a country. Your chargeability refers to the country towards which a limitation you count. Now, this is going to be an important sentence right here. Your country of eligibility will normally be the same as your country of birth. However, you might choose your country of eligibility as the country of birth of your spouse or the country of birth of either of your parents if you were born in a country in which neither parent was born and in which your parents were not residents at the time of your birth. So let me explain. If you don't qualify because you are not from the country that is on the list, simply put, you can qualify if your spouse is from the country that is on the list because she was born there, right? So in this case, it's going to be eligibility by birth. Or if not your spouse, then if any of your parents is actually eligible based on the list of countries, then you can claim your eligibility based on your parents if you were born in a country in which neither parent was born and in which your parents were not residents at the time of your birth. Okay? So these are the only three ways to select your country of chargeability. Now, if you don't qualify under these exceptions, unfortunately, you cannot apply because only people from the list of countries can apply. Now, let's talk about another question. Can I still apply if I was not born in qualifying country? There are two circumstances in which you might still be able to apply. First, if your spouse was born in eligible country, you might claim chargeability to that country. As your eligibility is based on your spouse, you will only be issued immigrant visa if your spouse is also eligible for that issued immigrant visa. Both of you must enter the United States together using your diversity visa lottery. Similarly, your minor child can be charged to parent's country of birth. Second, you might be charged to the country of birth of either of your parents, as long as neither of your parents was born in or is a resident of your country of birth at the time of your birth. People are not generally considered residents of a country in which they were not born or legally naturalized. For example, persons simply visiting, studying, or temporarily working in a country are not generally considered residents. Right? So if you were born in this country and your parents were there with you and they were, for example, just studying during the time of your birth, they are not considered resident. And in that case, if they are eligible right now to apply for DV visa lottery, you would be as well. If you claim alternate chargeability through either of the above, you must provide explanation on that DV entry form in question 6. Okay? So that's that, guys. And I know it's a little bit confusing, so if you have any questions, you can leave your questions below in comment section. All right, moving on. This is another frequently asked question. What are the requirements for education or work experience? So here's the thing. You need to show that you have high school education or equivalent. And how is that equivalent defined? It's defined as successful completion of 12-year course of elementary and secondary education in United States, or the successful completion in another country of a formal course of elementary and secondary education comparable to high school education in United States. By the way, guys, you do not need to have anything translated, no documents ready when you are applying for DV visa lottery. You absolutely don't need any documents. Somebody was asking this question if I need to show the translated documents. You don't need it, but you will need it if you are actually selected in DV visa lottery and you start the process, which you don't have to do right now. This is just the lottery registration. Okay, so keep that in mind. Don't worry about that. But as long as you're meeting the requirement, you're good to go. And by the way, you should be meeting the requirement right now, not in the future, the moment you are actually applying for DV visa lottery. Okay? Now, this is another frequently asked question. Is there a minimum age to apply for the DV program? There is actually no minimum age to apply, but the requirement of high school education or work experience for each principal applicant at the time of application will effectively disqualify most persons who are under age of 18. So if you are under 18, you want to make sure that you actually do qualify, especially if you are applying on your own, okay? If your parents are applying and they will actually include you in their petition, that's fine. But if it's you who is the principal applicant, you need to show that you are meeting these requirements. When can I submit the entry? I was already mentioning this. It's October 6, 2021, noon Eastern Standard Time. That's when the lottery will open up. And then the lottery will conclude November 9, 2021. And therefore, you should not wait and submit early. If I'm in the United States, can I enter DV program? Yes, you may. Can I only enter once during registration period? Yes, that's correct. Only one entry per person during each registration period is allowed. So please don't enter multiple times. As you can see, that Department of State uses sophisticated technology to detect multiple entries. And individuals with more than one entry will be ineligible for DV. Why do I need a passport to enter DV visa lottery? Are there any exceptions? All right, this is another frequently asked question people always ask. Yes, you do need valid, unexpired passports, all right? And the passport must be valid for international travel. Now, there are some exceptions, right? There are exceptions for people who are stateless, even though this is rare, but if you're someone who is stateless and you don't belong to any state, this would be the case, or nationals of communist-controlled country, if On your DV entry, you check the box corresponding to this exemption. You will be required to provide evidence to establish that you are not able to obtain passport from the government of your country. Okay? Now, what if my passport expires or I lose it before I apply for a visa? If your passport number changes for any reason, you will have to provide evidence of why it has changed to Department of State before they will schedule your DV interview. Okay, so that's that. May my spouse and I each submit separate entry? Absolutely, and this is something that I was also recommending, because if your spouse individually submits the entry, your spouse will automatically include you, okay? And if you have children as well, your children, imagine you do the same. You are this way multiplying your chances to be selected, okay? And if your children individually are meeting the requirements, like they are 18 and they actually are meeting the requirement of high school diploma and so on, they can as well submit their individual entries and include you as their parents. So this way you will increase your chances to be selected. Okay? So keep that in mind. Must I submit my own entry, or can I use someone else? They are even recommending that you do it yourself and you don't really necessarily hire anybody, regardless of whether you submit your own entry or you use attorney, friend, relative, or someone else to submit it on your behalf. Only one entry might be submitted in your name. And hear me out. Because of this, it's very important you don't pay any fraudulent website. There are websites that I was already referring to in my previous video, which are actually fraudulent websites. They are collecting money and they are collecting your personal data. And if you actually give them the money and they submit the entry in your name, automatically, if you do it yourself as well, again, you will be disqualified, because you will be actually submitting your name twice. As I already mentioned, in that case, the system will recognize it and you will be disqualified. So please don't pay anybody. Please don't use fraudulent websites where they require any payment. Just do it yourself and do it properly. I do have a program. There is a tutorial program below this video, how to submit your entry. If you need help, you can just get that tutorial, but just do it yourself. You want to make sure that you do it yourself. You want to make sure you do it properly, and you want to make sure you do it on time. And here is actually the official link to submit the entry. We already discussed that. All right, next one. I'm already registered for another immigrant visa in another category. Can I still apply for DV program? Yes, you may. And even if you are in the US as a student or as you are working under H-1B or other work visa, you can still submit. Can I download and save e-DV entry form into word processing program? No, you can do it online only. It's online and you have, I believe, 60 minutes limit. Here you go. Okay. If the DV system rejects my entry, can I resubmit an entry? Yes, you can resubmit. Again, as long as the submission is completed by noon, November 6, 2021. Because here's what happens. Sometimes, like I said, the system is just overwhelmed. Like, people are registering. Everybody is registering the first day. So therefore, the system is crashing down, and you want to make sure that you do it maybe next day or, few days later when it's not going wild. You know what I mean? Okay. If I hit submit button but did not receive confirmation number, if I submit another entry, will I be disqualified? So, if you did not receive your confirmation number at the end, your entry was not properly recorded. Here you can see it. So the only way to know that you actually submitted your entry was through confirmation number. So if you don't have confirmation number, you have to do it again. Now, frequently asked question, how do I know if I'm selected? You must use your confirmation number and check yourself, your status that's going to be available next year, May 8, 2022, through September 30th, 2023. So you have to actually check it yourself. How will I know if I'm not selected? Will I be notified? The Department of State will not notify you directly if your entry is not selected. You must use the entrance status check to learn whether you were selected or not. So that's the only way for you to find out. What if I lost my confirmation number? Then you can actually retrieve the confirmation number. There is a way to do it. I usually always show people year after year, how to check it out. So definitely subscribe to my channel and you will be notified. But basically, if you go and to that website, which is the link dvprogram.state.gov, and you do it next year, May 8, 2022, and you won't be able to do it because you don't have confirmation number, there is a way to retrieve it. You just add your email and they will email it to you. Okay? So that's the only way to know, because the Department of State will not send you any notification letter. Here you go. That's that. How many individuals will be selected? It's 55,000, like every year. So that's that. If I'm already in the United States, if selected, may I adjust my status? Yes, provided you are otherwise eligible to adjust your status. So that being said, guys, you should not be out of status. So if you, for example, in the US and you're out of status and you're applying for the DV visa lottery, then you won't be able to adjust your status. You have to be actually within your legal status. Okay? Keep in mind that DV visa lottery is free. There is no charge, no fee. You can do it only through electronic entry. You don't have to pay anybody. And just do it yourself. Do it on time. Do it yourself. And if you have any comments, questions, leave them below. I will probably guide you through it on October 6th. I will tune in. I will do a video. I will guide you how to submit the entry. In between, if you need help, I don't personally deal with this. Like, I don't submit any entry on behalf of anybody. But however, I do have that useful tutorial training. The link is below this video if you need to check it out, get it, and I will guide you through that tutorial training. However, personally, I don't guide people. I mean, I don't submit any DV visa lottery on behalf of anybody. This is just something I do to empower you, educate you, and support you. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a beautiful day. And I'll talk to you tomorrow or day after, and we will be submitting the entry together. So have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye.